G'day everybody, welcome back. I'm a little bit out of sequence here, but what you're about to see is me fixing the reason Barry didn't pass Rego. It's been recorded over a number of days. It's a little bit chop. So if I repeat myself, apologies. The good news is he's done. He passed Rego. The bad news is now I've got to take the inlet manifold off and replace the gasket because that's where the whistly air leak's coming from. That's a different video. I also have to somehow get the diff sump plug out because I'm pretty sure there's either no oil in the diff or very little, because it makes a knocking noise when I turn in one direction, and I'm going to fill it up full of really thick oil and see what it does. Other than that, the floor's fixed, new bolts in the suspension, and good to go. So here comes the action. I'll see you after. Alright, day one I've fixed the crack in the floor, and the biggest question is where are the limits of the crack? So we're pretty sure that the floor comes up to here. This is the tunnel. There's a crack here, so we need to start here. It comes clearly across this way. There's a little crack there, and then it comes across this way. So we'll have a little bit of a sticky beak. Alright, so it's pretty apparent that the crack stops about here. Continues up to here. There's a little crack there, and then it doesn't look like it goes too far. So I move the camera up this way. This is going to put mess everywhere in my nice clean car, but that's alright. Can't drive it without the floor fixed. So what does it look like from underneath? Where are we? There it is. So that plate's where the seat bolt in, and that's the end of the crack there. You can see the daylight through. So got to go water some trees tonight and tomorrow night and the next night. But you can see there's the flex. So we're going to have to wire wheel this part to get into this piece, put a bolt here with a plate and try and pull that up, and then we'll just tack weld it in. But right now I think the tanks are full, so we're going to go and water some trees. This is day one. Righto, so it's day three of clean up the crack, and I'll show you up top in a minute, but this is my way of leveling up the floor. The panel here has dropped, so we're just going to jack it up. Before I jack it up, I'll show you the inside. So the inside's come up reasonably well, but there's a section over here I can't get the wire wheel into, so I'm under this bolt and I'm going to try and jack it up so I can clean up that rust. So I don't know how it will go, but we'll leave the camera just here, resting on the grinder. We'll see if we catch it. Okay, so That's worked reasonably well. It might give me enough leverage to get the rest of that rust. We'll have another crack tomorrow. And I've also got a new angry grinding wheel, but that's going to do the job, I reckon. So I think we're close to ready for crack correction, but that's a Saturday night thing. But it's come up pretty well. Righto, so it's a few days later, and pretty confident that we're close to being able to weld it. I've let it sit for a few days on the jack, and apart from this little piece here, everything else is pretty level. The key part is from this point to this point because it's visible from underneath, and from about here to here because it's visible. Places I'm looking at in particular, the top of this crack, we want to close that down. I don't think it's cracked here, but we're going to weld this up and work our way back around. So the plan is to go with the dog is to go about an inch, 25 millimeters, put a little weld, put a little weld, put a little weld, but I won't go 1, 2, 3, I'll probably go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just spot weld it up and then join the dots. I am definitely keen to see what it looks like from underneath, and if the dog gets out of the way. It's a long way down with my size because I have to show that that has been repaired, but for the rest of it there's a plate there. So that's the plan. In other news, I found the whistle and I've got an inlet manifold coming. What? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't put your tongue in my ear. Alright, so what are we going to weld it with? Let's go and have a look. And I have also disconnected the battery. So the inlet manifold has a leak down and up in there. I'm not sure if someone just didn't put the gasket in properly. Shut up. Or if it's just leaking, but I'm going to make another video because I've got to take this whole assembly off. So plugs off, tubes off, cables off, inlet air thingy off, and then I think I'm going to have to split the top half off the bottom half, but that's a different video. The other thing I've done in preparation, as you saw, I spread the canvas drop cloth out. I still have to go up to the dashboard, over the seat and over the back. I am going to vacuum the space and get rid of as much of the fluff as I can, and we'll have a bucket of water sitting here with a rag in it to cool each weld, and I'll probably have the hose running, which is just there, so if I do set fire to the car, well, the dog can put it out. So let's go have a look at this welder. Alright, so I borrowed a CIG Weld 135 twin turbo, which is a gas or gasless MIG welder, and for this one it's got gasless wire in it because that's what it came with, and I'll be going with that. In terms of the application, well, let's have a look. So we're going to gasless wire. I'll have to measure it, and our thickness is going to be, well, it's going to be no thicker than this, so she's going to be low, fine, and a wire speed of 3, 1, 2, 3, and we'll have a crack. I do also have a spare tyre holder to weld up on, to weld as well, but it's like a 2.6. So it's 35 degrees today, and windy, so we'll probably start welding later or in the morning. But let's get it set up and see what we can do. Okay, the first rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club. The second rule is we never talk about my welding ever again. It's there, it's done, it's holding. I've got to put a white top coat on it, which I'll do. It's currently got primer on it, and I've then got some epoxy primer, goopy stuff to put on there as well, just to smooth it over and make it look pretty. It does hold my body weight. So yeah, unpretty, but we'll come back and have a look when it's all done. And yeah, I might even disable the comments so none of you can laugh at me on screen, because I'm very, very poor at welding. And just like that, you're back. So what's next? Inlet manifold, shouldn't take too long. I'll bang the camera on it, you just can watch me get angry. Diff oil, and then rego around payday in November, which is still a few weeks away. That's fine. It's $1,000 to register. It's almost what the car cost me. So Barry is ready. Drives really nice. Start, stops, people wave. It's always a good result. So anyway, don't base your welding skills on mine. I can't weld to save a life. However, I can weld enough to get this thing through rego. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.